Hey everyone, welcome back to your AML channel. Carbon credits were originally marketed as a mechanism to fund the conservation of farms and forests. However, investigations across Africa and the Amazon reveal a darker picture. Developers and land grabbers have exploited these conservation projects to conceal illegal timber activities, fabricate land claims, and funnel the proceeds through complicated company networks. In documented instances, prosecutors have stated that manipulated data and entirely fake projects generated credits that were sold to international buyers. The profits from these sales were routed through shell companies and subsequently invested back into tangible assets like farms, fuel businesses, or other visible assets. The ultimate consequence: dirty money appears clean, the climate gains no benefit, and affected communities receive little or nothing. Why farms renting land for carbon credits are vulnerable? This is why. Companies purchase carbon credits intending to offset their emissions. The basic process involves the developer or landowner promising to conserve or restore a piece of land, generating carbon credits, and then selling them. The system is fundamentally abused when land ownership, project monitoring, or baseline emissions are faked, leading to the production of credits without any real reduction in emissions. Farms and rented land are particularly attractive targets for abuse. This is because farmland is often privately held. The associated paperwork can be highly variable, and records are typically local. Renting land allows project developers to claim rights without needing transparent, long-term ownership. Furthermore, remote parcels of land are challenging or verifiable physically on the ground. Investigators have identified several key vulnerabilities, including forged land titles, inflated baselines, which means claiming higher avoided emissions than are genuine, overlapping claims where the same land is registered multiple times, the use of opaque corporate structures to move cash, and obscure ownership. Look, this is not a theoretical threat. These schemes have been uncovered globally. Number one, let's look at Brazil, Amazon, carbon Cowboys, and timber laundering. Investigations revealed conservation and carbon projects in the Brazilian Amazon that overlapped with indigenous territories and protected lands. These projects were connected to land grabbing and the laundering of illegal timber. The projects sold credits to big international buyers and intermediaries. Police later seized bank accounts and assets linked to the project operators. Key actors identified included project developers, land grabbers, timber launderers, shell companies, and certain corporate buyers who purchased the credits. Number two, let's look at Zimbabwe. Kariba conservation revenue mismanagement. Large conservation projects around Lake Kariba generated millions in offset revenue. However, investigators and local leaders questioned the destination of the money as little revenue was delivered to local communities. The profits were largely received by project developers and intermediaries, demonstrating how funds intended for communities and conservation can be diverted. Number three, let's look at U.S. enforcement actions for fraud charges. U.S. prosecutors filed charges against individuals for manipulating data specifically to obtain fraudulent carbon credits and then selling them. Money from the buyers flowed into companies and was then channeled through complex transactions into the personal coffers of executives and affiliates. This demonstrates the combination of fraud, credit creation, and corporate concealment that facilitates laundering. Number four, organized crime infiltration and asset seizures. Broader money laundering crackdowns, such as those targeting cartels in Brazil, have shown that agricultural assets are frequently used to absorb illicit proceeds. Farms, ethanol plants, and other agricultural assets are considered ideal real economy assets for integrating laundered funds, demonstrating the general pattern of utilizing farms for illicit financial activity. How laundering maps onto carbon for land schemes. The process typically follows the classic 3 stages of money laundering. utilizing specific actors within the carbon sector. Number one, placement, introducing illicit cash. Methods used: illicit cash is introduced by purchasing carbon credits through intermediaries, making upfront payments to project owners, or purchasing or leasing land directly with dirty cash. Actors include the criminal originators, such as illegal logging rings, drug networks or tax fraudsters, corrupt intermediaries, and project developers willing to accept funds from opaque sources. 2. The layering stage to obscure the money trail. Methods used: the money trail is hidden by routing revenue from credit sales through extensive shell company networks. This involves mixing illicit proceeds with legitimate income from consultancy, invoices, or credit sales, making multiple bank transfers across jurisdictions and generating fake invoices for services like consulting or land rental. Actors include key players such as offshore intermediaries, complicit accountants, and sometimes registries or marketplaces that do not adequately vet sellers. Investigations frequently highlight opaque ownership and complex corporate webs around suspicious projects. Number 3, the integration phase to make proceeds appear legitimate. This includes the following methods. The final stage involves reinvesting the funds into visible real economy assets. This includes reinvestment into farms, property, ethanol plants, cattle, timber operations, or plant nurseries. The laundered funds become harder to trace once they are invested into these tangible assets. Funds may also be paid out as dividends to nominees or utilized for large capital expenditures that match the reported project income. Actors in this stage involve property companies, agriculture front companies, complicit bankers, and sometimes legitimate corporate buyers who unwittingly purchase credits, completing the financial cycle. If you purchase offsets, the investigations show a clear imperative. You must demand transparency, not just a certificate. It means so much to us that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us today. Until the next video.